Hello world. I am vlogging from Toulouse, France. That's where I'm at right now, learning the language, also looking at some real estate, but that's just me. And I wanted to have a conversation, and these are just my thoughts on the current housing market and if you should wait or not. If you've been following me, I'm going to sum this up of what I see going on. I made a mention that I definitely see us going in a multi-decade year of inflation, inflationary period a la Argentina. And everything I've seen does not indicate that's not going to stop. There's nothing I'm seeing indicating that these interest rates are going to come down anytime soon. And it's a very hard question for when you should buy a house. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it right now. But you got to understand what's going on. First of all, who's buying right now? It's the haves and the have-nots, right? Right now, with the low word inventory, the people buying right now are people who are double income and can afford the higher payments. And there are double income people who make combined 100, 150,000, 200,000 a year that can afford the mortgage at 8% on a house. But also, those people also have money saved and are putting $100, $200, $300,000 down. So even though they might buy a $500,000 house, they're not financing 80% of that. They're not financing that at all. The people buying mostly right now are putting significant down because they have sold a house. The other market right now is cash buyers. So for the amount of inventory available, I think they say it's at less than 3 months. There are buyers, and that's why it's not going down. So all the cash buyers and the haves are still buying. It's the have-nots that are not buying. And the question for the have-nots is, what do you do? And if you do not have 100,000 or 200,000, you've been following me for 13 years, but haven't purchased a property or gained equity in your own property and the ability to tap into it, we have to move differently. So it's not that you don't buy, because if you're waiting for interest rates to go down, you might be waiting 20 years for that. Multi-decade inflation, okay? You might be waiting 20 years. I honestly just don't see them lowering the interest rates, at least for I see them raising it for another few, and then maybe after that it might slightly start going down, but you have a long way to go before you ever see 3% again. That's not the plan. The plan right now is to really shake it off, shake up the market right now. So it's those who own and those who don't, those who have land and those who do not have land. That is a bigger power play. You don't have all these major trust funds and companies gobble up houses for the last 15 years, billions of dollars worth of real estate. They're not doing that just to let that go and depreciate the cost of their real estate. They have artificially, with their billions of dollars, inflated the market. And they're not going to let that go. They're becoming, in some cities, some of the largest landowners and landlords. And these are corporate investors. I already told you, Ian left a script on my other channel, that if you guys don't take action congressionally and tell them if they don't stop these big institutions from purchasing in your area, that you were going to vote them out. Until you do that, this isn't going to change. That's the plan. They're betting on your inability to organize and take action on this because you're too tired, you're too fatigued. All of this is very planned, right? They know this. So you got to understand they know this. Nothing's changing. BlackRock and Vanguard didn't spend all this money buying these properties to become landlords, to just let them all flood the market. Yeah, they've been selling more than they've been buying the last year and a half. You want to know why? Because they bought stuff for $100,000 and it's selling for $400,000. They're making even more money. And as long as they hold on, they artificially inflate the market because they artificially create low supplies, which means that the prices can keep rising with the haves, and the have-nots are out of the game. And as long as the haves are in the game, you're really creating a dichotomy for them owning, the haves owning, and the have-nots not even be able to have an opportunity. So I would say that you just have to understand what's going on. Now, can you still buy in this market? I think right now I see a slowing down in home prices. So definitely you can wait until there's a slowdown. But I also want you to just think about purchasing in a way where it's already profitable. That means finding the distressed areas and in a smart way, not in a way that's going to get you in trouble, because a lot of people have gotten in trouble. In a way that is smart, making sure it's strategic. So if it's your own property, making sure you can rent out a room or a garage or some sort. You know, if you purchase my home, when I put it on the market, converting the garage, right? Well, that's built in $1,000 a month. So even if you are a homeowner, you're going to bring, you know, $50,000 to put down on a $500,000 house. Having that extra $1,000 is strategic. So you need to start buying your home as if every person I know in New York who owns a home, it's a duplex or triplex. It's the only way it's affordable. But they have a home, and I've seen their homes go for $300,000 or $350,000 to $600,000 in equity, right? They're not selling either because they can't buy anything else. But that's another story. So you need to buy your home as it is an investment property. I will look on doing maybe a master class next weekend. If you guys are interested, comment below and I'll send you a link on how, as a Black person in America, you need to go through the home process, both selling and buying, because there's things we have to do to get around the racism inherent in the system. That is well documented and well explained. That's from selling your house and getting low appraisals to even getting a document when you have perfect credit, right? Like, that's been proven. Like I said, the companies have decided they'd rather get fined, you know, $250 million every single year than give out $100 million in home loans to minorities with good credit. What does that say about these stupid banks, right? So they've made that decision and they get fined every year. It's like, okay, what bank gets fined this year? They take turns. So the thing is to just be strategic and make sure it's already profitable. Being distressed housing. Well, I don't do distressed housing. I just do strategic housing that we carefully comb the markets for to find. So that's still taking place and that's still possible. The other thing is, if it's your own property, buy it like it's an investment property. And there's some skills with that on how to do it. Now, interest rates going down, don't count on that. So if you want to wait for a lot of years, like 3 or 4 or 5 for interest rates to go down, you can. There's no guarantee that they will. I personally don't think they are. I don't think all this happened for them to just let this go. They really got the American public. If you were a country that wanted the people to sit down, shut up, and be quiet, one way to do this, a la North Korea, is to make sure people are so focused on survival they don't have time to fight back, right? And then you can do whatever you want. So I sort of see strategically since 2000, America paid for by corrupt corporations who need the American public docile. You get docility through jacking the prices of everything up. Now, I don't see this is coming down. Now, there's ways to live outside the system. I'm retired. I'm still traveling, but I travel on a budget. I got rid of debt. So there are ways to get out of the system where you're not a serf to the kingdom of corporations that have bought and paid for Congress. That means instead of buying new, you buy secondhand. That means instead of buying anything you need, it's creating things you need. Instead of buying napkins, you take an old $3 towel, or you get a towel from the Goodwill or Dollar Tree or something, and you cut that up and you use those and you wash them. There are ways to live once you get out of debt, because debt is another form of control that is programmed into us strategically to keep us working and busy like little hamster wheels. This isn't always easy, but I've done this. Getting out of debt and shifting your culture from buy more to secondhand more to budget travel more, all of these things. Like, I have never taken as many buses and trains as I have in my life since I've made this decision. And it's a little bit more exciting and a little bit more of an edge to life. But it's also, you actually don't need a ton of money to survive when you get to that point. So there are ways to getting out of the serfdom, but you really have to basically throw away all parts of America financial culture and just keep the work ethic. And even then, I'm sort of overworking and slaving away. So there's a lot in our culture that are programmed into us as Americans specifically. I know here in France, the last 20 years, when I talk to people here in France, they're just like, Americans are like this and we don't want it. The world has been watching America for the last 20 years going, increase violence, increase fatigue, increase obesity, increase this, and they don't want it. The last 20 years with us being on the public stage and with social media, the French public has decidedly said, we don't want this. Yeah, we see America has lots of money. We don't want it if that's the cost of it. They are consciously rejecting. So in America and the white community, they watch the black community and they go, what's going on there? And they tell their kids, don't do like that. We don't do that. You let them do it, right? And our community is at the bottom of the tier as a collective, not individually, because I'm not bottom tier individually, but as a collective, we are the bottom tier, permanent underclass, and it's going to stay that way. There's immigrants coming to this country who are excelling above us, so there's a toxic culture. But like a lot of the people in other communities outside the black culture look at us as a case study of what not to do, right? You do not want that type of life. Look at this. Look at them, okay? France and Europe has been doing the same thing to America. They're like, we don't want it. You know, it's interesting. I see like there's like these custody battles with Americans who might marry people overseas, and the American assume that they're gonna take their kid back to America because it's better. And these corporate companies are like, no, it's not. We don't want our kids learning those toxic traits. No. So I just want you to know, like, there are ways to get out of the culture that we were in. And me being here, I realize how much of it's culture. Like, I was programmed to care about status. I was programmed to want nice things. I was programmed to use debt to get it so that I could have that best oven. I was not programmed to learn how to fix an oven. I was not programmed to, you know, if something breaks, you don't buy a new one, you reuse it and recycle or find someone who can. That's not part of our programming. I learned that when I got outside of the programming. So then I started to realize that's just American culture. It's toxic. People don't want it. People all over the world are looking at us like, if that's what money gets you, we don't want it. We'll take less. You know, I used to be so hard on like in France and everywhere. They had like 1 year maternity leave, but the French women make less. And as an American, I was like, who wants to make less as a woman because I get a year off? But now that I'm over here, I'm like, oh, what I didn't understand culturally, the whole culture over here isn't about money. If you have money, they actually don't like that. Like, the culture here is not about, you know, the server is able to live just as well as like different lawyers, you know what I mean? Because one guy I met, he works as a security guard for a mall, and he was like, well, you know, I get 300 euros a month to help pay for my apartment. So he has his own apartment. There are grown men in America who don't have their own apartment. Like, I'm like, oh my God. So like, it's interesting because I was like, oh, who wants to take less money? But the thing is, they make less money here. It's not about money. So yeah, they make less money, but that's okay. They're doing something they love and fulfilled, and you don't need a ton of money to live here and thrive. It's very strategic, you know, as a citizen, right? I don't get access to those benefits, but I'm just saying it's the you know, it's just a culture you see outside looking in. You don't see it while you're in it, but I'm telling you, it's not the best culture, and it keeps us in these corporations and serfdom. So all that being said, that's our culture. You can get outside of it, so you're not stressed and worked out. But until then, you can still purchase property. You just need to do it strategically and make sure that it's already profitable, be it an investment property or your private home. And yes, as a Black person, we have to navigate spaces differently. You know, for instance, one of the things that I have all of my clients, and I've been doing this for 13 years, when you go to look for a loan, you don't just get one person to pull your credit to see if they approve you. You need 4 when you're Black, because 2 will just sort of try to give you a higher interest rates. Like, the racism is real. But when you have 4 other people who approved you, now you start playing them off each other, right? So there's just things you have to do strategically. Now, strategically, not only does that make me more powerful as a Black person, it just makes me powerful in general, because all of a sudden I have options, and they know if 4 other people approved me, they know that I'm good as money. It's like my validation. So there's different things that I had to learn as an investor, as a Black person in a racist America, in order to navigate the system that just makes it a powerful power move anyways. Isn't that funny? Racism and learning how to handle it just makes you more powerful and strategic in how you present yourself, and in a way so that they start chasing after you. So there are ways for you to navigate. I might do a masterclass on, you know, navigating as a Black person, the home, your own home as an investment property. Yeah, I might name it like, you know, buy your home as an investment property and what to look for, because I've done that with all of my homes, and it's always made me money while I was in it, and it's always made me money when I sold, right? And that's how I'm retired at 41. And it's about being modest. There's a lot of tips and tricks. I'm not going to give it to you here, but if you're interested in a master class, either on or both, navigating buying a house as a Black person within a, you know, systemic racism, because there are things you have to do differently. If you don't know them, you're going to get dinged, and it's going to cost you wealth. Whew, even on passing it on costs you wealth. They just wait for Black people to pass so they can get all their money and slip taxes on it, because you're not tax planning. There's so many different things they do to just prey on us, and they don't do to others. It's ridiculous. Now, the reason I don't hate it is because I see it and I navigate around it, but I realize not all of you guys have that knowledge, so I'm willing to do it. Or a masterclass on buying your home as a first investment, probably let me know. It won't be a high fee. It'll just be like a 2-hour thing and then a Q&A at the end on one of the weekends if you want for a couple hours. But if you're interested, tell me which one and which subject, and I'll send you a link if there's enough interest. And yeah, so that's it. So you can wait for rates to go down. That's going to be years. Or you can buy strategically to make sure you buy an investment your first home like it is an investment property. And there are some key tricks and tips to that. Also, getting out of debt is the right thing to do right now. And because interest rates are just going up on everything. So those variable credit cards are going to go up. And anyways, it keeps you tied into serfdom, corporate serfdom, in which they want to put us in. So if you reject all that, you have to make the moves, and it's a cultural thing that you have to get over. It's not easy changing your culture. So just know, but it's time. America, you honestly need to change your culture, or you're not gonna make it. It's gonna be a very hard life, you know? And if you do both learn to be more frugal, reject the consumerism, embrace the secondhand, embrace the bus or luxury travel or bicycle travel or walking travel versus driving every day, which I'm still trying to do. Because I swear I go walking on the beach every day and I take my car. It's a 5-minute drive, but I'm like, Lisa, take your bike, right? So it's not easy for us to get out of years of car isolation culture and just buy and pay more culture for things you want. It's not easy. Baby steps. So just start where you can. But that's going to save us going forward so that you can be happy within this very exploitative and predatory system. So I hope this is very helpful. I hope you all enjoyed. Please comment below. And also, you can get my book. There's a link for it, or schedule a consultation. The first one's free, but after that, I'm just doing something right now and experimenting with it. You want a 30-minute conversation about anything real estate investing, cryptocurrency, or just traveling with real estate and how to position yourself to do it and early retire, go ahead and sign up. A link will be in any of my videos below. It'll take me a moment when I get home to like upload the link for this particular video, but just look at any past videos to see that. All right, thank you so much. Bye.